after knowing about what does it mean by a market, now we move on to what is marketing. So we go through certain definitions to better understand what does it mean by marketing management. So whereas marketing is more than any other business activity, that is only dealing with the customers. So whereas when you take any other business activity, it may or may not be dealing with the customers, but marketing is the only activity which will be dealing more with the customers. So there are numerous definitions, number of definitions which are available for the marketing management, but the major definition or the simplest definition to better understand the marketing is managing profitable customer relationship. Managing profitable customer relationship, because as part of marketing management, we deal with the 4 P's. We deal with the 4 P's. So one is known as the product, and the other one is known as price, and the other one is known as promotion, and the other one is known as the place. So as part of marketing strategy, we deal with the 4 elements of marketing, which we call them as marketing mix. We will be discussing about marketing mix in a detailed way further into the topics. But here, as part of marketing management, so companies, they need to introduce a product in the market. So there will be a price for the product, and the customers or the consumers must also know what kind of product it is available in the market. So that's why it is possible to promotion. And at the same time, customers should also know where the product is available. So we call them as channels of distribution. We will also call it as a place. So that's why you need to manage profitable customer relationship. You have to manage customer relationship in what way? That should be in a profitable manner, because whatever the business you do, it should be in a profitable way, so that it will be bringing lot of benefits to the company. Because when companies are making the business in profits, so then they can introduce many more products into the market. That's what managing profitable customer relationship is, the simplest definition to understand about marketing. So whereas before we go for the different definitions of marketing, we go with the social and managerial definition of marketing, because there are 2 dimensions of marketing management. From the social dimension, we deal marketing in a different way. At the same time, managerial point of view, we deal marketing in a different way. So what is the social definition? So from the social definition point of view, it is a societal process by which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating, offering, and exchanging products and services of value freely with others. So the societal definition gives you a clear picture what is marketing, because as part of the societal process, so individuals and groups obtain what they need and what they want, because every individual, so they will have their own needs and wants, and to fulfill their needs and wants, they require certain products. For example, in the morning, we want to brush our teeth, we require a brush, we require a toothpaste, and we want to have a cup of coffee, we require a coffee powder. Like we will have our own needs and wants, and we will fulfill those needs and wants by obtaining the required product. That's why individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating. So according to the needs and wants, the creation of the products or goods which are required. So creating, offering, because any product or good will not be available at free of cost, there should be a price. Offering, and also exchanging products and services of value freely with others. That's what we call it as the social definition. Social definition gives a clear picture that so people have their needs and wants in the society, and they require the products. That's what it is happening. This we call it as the social definition. But when we go for the managerial definition of marketing, simply to say the art of selling products, that is only marketing. The way how you sell the product to the customer, that's what we call it as managerial definition of marketing. Because so when you are dealing as from the point of view of a managerial point of view, you focus more on the product, You focus more on convincing the customer with the price. You focus more on how it will be reaching to the customer through promotion, and simultaneously you will be focusing more on the place where it is available to the customer. That's why the art of selling products, simply to say the art of selling products, we call it as marketing management. That's why there are two dimensions. Societal point of view, people will have their needs and wants, and that's why they obtain so value freely, which is available in the market, they obtain it. But whereas from the managerial point of view, the company or the business organizations, they focus on how to sell the product. That's it. They never bother about the needs and wants. That's a different dimension. That's why there are two dimensions, either social dimension or the managerial dimension. But whereas when we go with the different definitions of this marketing management, so Peter Drucker, so a leading management theorist, he has explained, he has defined marketing management in his words. The aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. So the marketing management aim is always to make selling superfluous. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well. When you are able to understand the customer so well, then automatically the product or service fits him and sells itself. So you need not to make anything for the selling of the product or service to the customer. Once the product or service fitting to the needs of the customer, automatically the selling will be superfluous. Means the Peter Drucker clearly mentioning that you should always focus more on knowing and understanding the customer. How best you trying to know the customer, so your selling will be to that extent. How best you can understand the customer, your selling will be to that extent. That's why Peter Drucker focus is more on knowing and understanding the customer, so that automatically you can design a product or you can design a service that fits to him and automatically sells itself. You need not to make lot of strategies to sell your product. You need not to promote your product to maximum extent so that there will be a sales of your product or service. That's what Peter Drucker is mentioning in his definition. But whereas when you take the other definition given by Chartered Institute of Marketing, marketing is the management process that identifies, anticipates, and satisfies customer requirements profitably. So here the Chartered Institute of Marketing is also clearly mentioning, making it clear that you should always understand the customer requirements, because the needs and wants of the customers will always change from time to time. So for example, when our forefathers or grandparents were there, their needs and wants are different. But right now we are in a different era, and our needs and wants will also be changing. That's why you should always understand, you need to identify what are the needs and wants of the customers, and not only identification. So if you simply identify, that will not make the sales of your product. You have to anticipate with the requisite product or service to the need. So not only identifying the requirements, but anticipating. And also sometimes people think that simply by anticipating in the sense, if you design a product, if you design a service, that's enough. So that because you have identified a requirement and you have designed a product or service, so automatically why sales is not to that extent. The other point, the Chartered Institute of Marketing is clearly mentioning, you had to satisfy him, because customer satisfaction is the important thing of marketing management. Because when you are identifying the customer requirement, when you are anticipating with the requisite product or service, then if it is really satisfying to the customer, automatically there will be a profitability of your sales. So customer requirements will make profitability to the company. That's what the definition is clearly mentioning about marketing management. At the same time, American Marketing Association is also defining marketing. It is the process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion, and distribution of ideas, goods, and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational goals. So when we are taking about the definition given by Peter Drucker, at the same time Chartered Institute of Management, this definition is in a bit broader sense, because American Marketing Association making means the scope of marketing, they are little bit increasing, and they're clearly saying, so it is the process of planning and executing the conception. You have to plan, you have to execute the various ideas, because you will have different concepts, and this planning and execution, the conception is required. And not only you simply the conception, but also the pricing is required. That's what earlier I said to you. Marketing management is all about the four elements: product, price, promotion, place. So conception deals with the product, pricing, promotion, and a distribution. So all these four pieces of what it is about ideas. So you may have different ideas. For example, earlier we were not having cab services in India, but now if you want to travel from one place to the other place, we have either you can hire a motorcycle or even a car. Cab services are available. So Ola, Uber, all these are available. At the same time, if you want to get any food from the restaurant, earlier we were not having these facilities, but now we have Zomato or some other. So like different ideas will makes the fulfillment of the requirements of the customer. That's why you have to create, you have to price, you have to promote and distribute the ideas as well as the goods and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational goals. Because as an individual, customer will have his own need, and if you are able to meet his need, he will be satisfied. And simultaneously, as a business organization, every business organization will also have its goals. So if you are able to meet those goals, so there will be a balance of these individual and organizational goals. When you are satisfying individual goals and organizational goals, that makes the profitability. That's what it has been clearly mentioned in the definition given by American Marketing Association. And whereas the other definition given by Kotler and Armstrong, marketing is the social process by which individuals and organizations obtain what they need and want through creating and exchanging value with others. So earlier, before this, we discussed about the two dimensions of marketing: societal marketing as well as managerial marketing. So from that point of view, Kotler and Armstrong, they are clearly mentioning marketing is the social process. It is a social process by which individuals and organizations obtain what they need, because every individual and organizations will have their own needs and wants, and through creation and exchanging value with others. Because when we want to buy a product, there will be a value for the product, and exchange of money is required, and automatically we can obtain the product to our needs and wants. That's what it has been clearly mentioned in the definition given by Kotler and Armstrong. And whereas father of marketing, Philip Kotler, so he is mentioning, he is giving a very good definition of marketing management, because once if we go through this definition, we will have a clear picture of what does it mean by marketing management. Because earlier we discussed about what is a market, and now when we go through this definition given by Philip Kotler, we will have a clarity of what is marketing management. So marketing management is the process of choosing target markets and getting, keeping and growing customers through creating, delivering and communicating superior customer value and satisfaction. So it is very clear, marketing management is the process of choosing target markets. You have to identify who are your real customers. You should always identify your target market, and also you need to get them, you have to keep them, and also you have to grow your customers, because you need to retain the customers. And not only retaining the customers, you should also identify the new customers from the time to time. That's why getting, keeping and growing customers through creating, delivering and communicating superior customer value and satisfaction. Utmost customer value need to be created, utmost customer value need to be delivered, and utmost customer value and satisfaction need to be communicated. That's what it is all about, marketing management. That's why Philip Kotler is clearly defining marketing management is the process of choosing target markets and getting them, keeping them and growing customers through the process of creation, delivering and communicating superior customer value and satisfaction. That's what the definition about the market management given by Philip Kotler.